Oh, ayo, what's up, guys? I'm gonna be doing JoJo Bizarre Adventure Part 5, Episode 15 and 16 again. Because, I don't know, I keep doing these double builds because I keep falling behind in trying to record these videos, so I just double them up to save time and stuff. But let's talk about it. So, Episode 15. Oh my goodness, that had me in suspense. Like my mouth was open, and I was so shocked what happened in the stay of that episode. It shook me to the absolute core. I was not having what was going on with that stuff. So basically, uh, Mister so far is my favorite character out of the group. Excluding like he's my favorite supporting character in Bujarati's gang. So obviously that's why I know I thought he was my favorite. I really liked his personality. So I thought this was his time to shine. We see him go out there. We see him fight Pesci with his fishing rod stand. And then I thought at that point he was gonna kill Pesci. But then Prosciutto comes out and turns out he was the old man all along. So that was pretty clever of him though, because it was kind of hinted that I was wondering why this old man kept grabbing Pesci at the first, right? And then and then you see him grab Mister again. And then at that point, I was like, damn, I can't believe he got tricked. But like the power where he shot 3 bullets into Mister's head, I was like, I cannot believe this has happened to my favorite supporting role, my supporting character. Like if you saw my face, I was in disbelief. I was like, no way, because getting shot in the head 3 times at that range, and you see a pool of blood, like I just assumed he was dead. But no, somehow he's still living. But pray, I pray for Mister's safety because he doesn't look like he's out the danger zone. He might just be bleeding out very slowly. But damn, a lot of things did transpire in this episode. Yeah, and then after that, obviously the dynamic duo of Nissan and Pesci and Prosciutto, they go try to look for the rest of the gang, and then that's when they stumble upon what is the turtle, and then so they find out about the turtle because they see the shit. Everyone's so clever in this show. Like they just see a shit on the floor and they're just like, you know what, that's a tortoise shit, and then they deduct all these common knowledges and just find out things. It's crazy. But I quite like the part where they find the turtle and they only see 3 of them, and they see that Gujarati is missing, and then he comes out his little zipper hole, and he just completely one KOs the Pesci, and then it's Prosciutto versus Gujarati. Gujarati really put in work in this episode. So did Mister before he got banged out. To be honest, I hope he's okay. But yeah. And then Bujarati with Prosciutto was pretty intense. They both had a little. They were both evenly matched, but I guess Prosciutto had the upper advantage because Bujarati was actually aging because of the fight. So that was pretty careless. But it turns out it was part of Bujarati's plan all along. And then is that we see the part where he grabs a hold of Prosciutto and he unzips the train, and I thought that was like such a good cliffhanger. It had me on the edge of my seat, and I wanted to know more. And it was so dramatic, and the cliffhanger it was so hanging, like it was such a hanger. I could not believe what I saw. And then we get the conclusion to these two, uh, to the 2 assassins. So the end of the line for Pruschetti and Pesci. I can't even say his name. Percy, the pineapple head, pretty much. I call him. The reason I call him pineapple head because he looks like a pineapple head. So we see Bujarati and Pesci, Prosciutto, like we just see him like fly off the train at top speed. We see the old what's he called, the train driver. We just see his body get dismantled as he touches the floor, but somehow they're still hanging on. And then he uses his fishing rod line, and then he attaches it to Prosciutto's hand. This was all crazy because none of this was calculated. Because Bujarati, I guess he kind of expected him to kill himself with him and sacrifice himself, but he didn't expect that to happen. But like the next few scenes, I thought was like crazy with that the amount of outplay potential they used. So we see Prosciutto just trying to kick Bujarati off, and then you see him kick him off like carefully, but then Bujarati's stand, sticky fingers, grabs Prosciutto's leg, and he manages to hang on. Oh, and then the best part was what happens? I forgot what happens exactly, but oh yeah, the part where the way, because obviously Pesci can feel two things on the fishing line at the moment. So Bujarati, the way he unzips Prosciutto's hand and then he attaches his to the hook, I thought that was quality because then Pesci's like, there's only one person left, so he just pulls him up. But it turns out to be the wrong person. But oh my god! And then at that point, I see Prosciutto just hit the floor, and I thought, good, that's what he got. That's what he deserves for doing that, doing my boy Mister Dirty. But as far as I'm alive, Mister's still alive because one of his Sex Pistols, number 6 or 7, one of the numbers, he's still alive. He's with Bujarati, still giving him support. Like, it doesn't really do much. He's just there. Just a bit of exposition. And then, okay, so it's up to Bujarati to deal with the last guy, But obviously, and then the thing about Pesci, he changes though, because oh no, he changes because he thinks his Aniki is dead, but his Aniki is like somehow this is some BS I call. Like, how is he still alive? Like at that rate, he should have just died on impact on the floor. But obviously, this is anime, and he stands unreal either. But he's like stuck in the rails. He's like stuck in the rails, just like chilling. But he's obviously fatally wounded, but he's still got the willpower and resolve to go on. And he gives his little bro a few words of wisdom while he's there. And then this is the part where Pesci changes from like a naive fool. We see one of the oh yeah, and we see one of those innocent civilians, not innocent, but just like a civilian, start insulting Pesci, and then we see the effects of the great what's it called, Grateful Death come back, and we see the old man just like turn back. He just withers away, and then this is the part where Pesci stomps on his neck, right? And then once when he stomps on his neck, his whole demeanor changes, and then I quite like the way his demeanor changes. He changes from like a timid, shy character to like an exact clone of his Aniki of Prosciutto. Like he has the same aura and the same mindset as him now. And then with the new calm uh, composure, he tries to pull in Bujarati, and like I won't lie, his stand ability is pretty OP because you can't take away that hook, and that hook just gets close to his heart, and like the way Bujarati outplayed him was ridiculous. To be fair, he outplayed him quite well, but there was also a bit of luck involved. Like the part where he unzips himself in the trailer room, and then obviously Pesci's still looking for him with his fishing rod, and like the whole sequence between Bujarati and Pesci, it was like it was a battle of the resolve and how much willpower they have, and how much what's the word I'm looking for? Like it's a battle of resolve and I can't think of the word, resilience, and who wants it more. And then we just saw how much more Gujarati wanted it when he unzips his own heart and his heart stops. And the thing was, he didn't have any way of redoing that either. And the only way the heart even came back together was from pure luck. Was from a bit of luck because Pesci stops the train, and the train like pushes it back together because the Sex Pistol, like Mr. Sex Pistol bullet, like couldn't do anything 'cause it's too small. Well, it's not a professional in handling that because knows only how to handle bullets apparently. But damn, so when that happens, right? I was like, yo, this is crazy. And then we see Bujarati have a little standoff with Pesci, and then we got Prosciutto watching over him as well as like a spectator who's dying anyway, so he wants to be avenged. But none of that happens. Yo, the way Bujarati handled this dude, oh my goodness, I thought it was brutal. The way he puts his own fishing hook around his neck and just kicks his head, and I don't know, I don't know, that just looks like an instant KO to be honest. But no only does he like just twist his neck, but he also gives him a good old beat down as well. Yeah, like Bucciarati, he goes all out because I remember he gives him the old he gives him the JoJo experience. I forgot it's just like or it sounded so funny because I never expected Bucciarati to have one of those. But yeah, that was pretty funny. And then he just completely dismantles Pesci's body into like little zippers and he throws him in the ocean. That's such a gangster way of killing someone. Like um obviously I'm not trying to glorify gangster life, but it was a pretty gangster way of dealing with your enemies, which is normally just to cut them up into little pieces and throw them somewhere. So that was pretty brutal to be honest. And then with that, Bucciarati deals with both of these goons. That's that's four. Is it four? Is this? Let me think. Is this three or four? Oh, this is four down. This is four out of the 10 assassins are down, and then with them gone, now they got to find a different transportation route to the agreed location. But on the scene, so Bujarati, kind of MVP, took care of both of them by himself. But I really hope Mister's alive, to be honest, because I was so worried for Mister, because I was like, oh my god, because this is JoJo Bizarre Adventure. Characters actually do die because it's so short. Anything can happen. Like I was wrong to assume that Kakuin would survive. I thought Kakuin being one of the what's it called? So in part three, there's obviously the bro group, the manliest group in JoJo history, right? The fourth, right? So JoJo, Kakuin, Abdul, and Jonathan. Yeah, there's four of them, right? So I assumed that all four were going to survive because they were part of the main cast there. But no, like and Polonov, how can I forget Polonov? I guess he was a bit annoying. Like I never expected like Abdul and Kakuin to be dead, but so obviously because of the nature of the show, characters can get killed at any moment. It happened with Caesar as well. So I thought this was Mister's demise. I thought this might have been his last, might have been his last goodbyes. But it still could be because we haven't seen him fully recovered. But I really hope he's not because of my favorite character so far. But damn, Bujarati definitely showing that he is the leader. He completely dismembered those two just by himself, to be honest. Like Mister got wrecked, to be honest. He didn't really do much except for the ice thing with his stand. But yeah, Bujarati showing that he is the capo for the reason, and he shows a lot of resolve in this episode, and he shows his utility and thing. But technically, Jono is stronger. But Jono did nothing, to be honest. I was quite disappointed in Jono in this like three-part episode because he just sits there and dies, and then the other two are useless as well, to be honest. But yeah, that was it for this one.